used in different content. Therefore, there are three words in my example. All right. So therefore, we need to teach our students that words and the meaning of words will depend on how it was used, how it is used in context, and the context would most likely give us an idea of the discipline on which this language was used on. So we need to help our students to be more mindful of the topic and the content on which the language is being used. Hindi lang pwede kasi na tinuturo lang natin English, tinuturo lang natin Filipino. Dapat itinuturo natin sa mga bata kung paano ginagamit ang wikang ito sa iba't ibang larang. Kaya nga po nagkaroon po tayo ng asignatura sa senior high school ng ang Filipino gamit sa ibang larang. I don't know how to pronounce it right, but I've heard a lot of Filipino experts saying larang or larang, but I may be wrong on it. But I'm thinking that in English it means using Filipino in different disciplines, I guess, or industries. It's kind of the same with English, how English behaves in different subject areas. My point here with this example is that if we only teach our students the language per se on a certain context and not multiple contexts, and not integrating that and directly and implicitly making our students aware that it has this kind of behavior in a particular subject area, then one way or the other, integrate how English or Filipino or mother tongue behaves in science, how is this used in science and ICT and mathematics, and to history and to sociology, and even to other disciplines outside the academic world, like travel and lifestyle, then we have successfully taught our students functional use of the English language. And that's why he is which I totally agree, is he's propagating and he's advocating that the use of the teaching of the language should be more of functional use than of just the idea of teaching our students the idea of knowing a language. Because at the end of the day, if our students have memorized grammar, they know accentuation for oral fluency and so on and so forth. And yet when they go back home, when they go to different social situations which demands the use of the English language or Filipino language for that matter, they're not able to partake with the conversation or partake with the interaction, then somehow we have failed one or the other our students to transfer the language skills that we wanted them to acquire. Okay? Again, This is from Jack Richards, not mine, but I am putting this on the table because I totally agree with him. Okay, so let's now proceed to the second question. What model can be used to do language and content integrated language? All right. There are a lot of models out there, but the most common and being propagated right now in the whole Southeast Asia, and it's not quite new though, but it has been there, and one way or the other, it has become the one of the core designs of the language curriculum in the Philippines, both Filipino and English, and even mother tongue, and we call it as CLIL, or content and language integrated learning. Okay, it's content and language integrated learning. So there are three components of CLIL. We have the learning of the subject, and then we have the learning of the language, and then we have the third one, which is to make sure that we create a certain learning experience that our students are simultaneously learning the language and at the same time the content of the subject or the different subject area. Now, uh, the key element here is striking a balance between learning a content and the learning a language, because at the end of the day, if you are in a language subject, which is more important, the language or the content? So it depends where you use the idea of the CLAIL. If you're a language teacher, still the master would be the language, come up with a certain balance. But the idea here is that the integration must be meticulously done in such a way that it does not destroy the discipline, all right, or overcome the major discipline. And I'll give you another example on that. So content and language and learning, by the way, this was shared by Dr. Alvin Pang in 2017. And he said that content and language integrated learning, or CLIL, is a dual focused educational additional language. There is focus not only on content and not only on language. Each is interwoven even if the emphasis is greater on one or another at a given time. So yun yun ho, hindi minsan nagpapantay ang treatment po natin. So sometimes the focus is on the content. We are just using the language for our students to learn the content, or we're using the content so that students are able to practice their language on. So it depends on the focus and the purpose of such integration. But the idea there is that we don't want to delay of such integration, that we just focus on the content and then thereby let the other language teachers teach the language of how students will learn the language of my subject. Or I will teach language skills in my English subject. I will just hope and pray that my students and the content area teachers will integrate my, no, it cannot be that. It must be a synergy of efforts of both the content area teachers and the language area teachers. They need to discuss together and come up with a harmonious relationship in such a way that there is a horizontal articulation, deciding on a certain time which will be the master, either the language or the content, or vice versa. Okay, so this is how we can come up with the designs of CLIL, or content language integrated. So we can be like too soft, meaning it's theme-based English lessons. Focus is still on language, taught by a language teacher, and then she's integrating, or he will be integrating certain examples in the subject area. All right. I'm not gonna, this one, I'll be focusing on this though. All right. And then we have too hard, where there's immersion of how language is used in the content area. So the focus now is on the content